Welcome everyone to our Tuesday night chat. I am Kelli Wilkins. I'm on location learning about have abundance in money and business and from the Aaron Sansoni group, if you've ever heard of those. So just did a little introduction for Gerard. If you haven't heard from Gerard before, he's a great leader in helping you to understand what it is that you want and what's missing in order for you to have it. So tonight you're going to do a little exercise with Gerard. You're going to really uncover the area for yourself. And since this is money month, you might want to do it in the area of finances. You might want to do it in another area, but he'll take you through that and really have what we love to call a breakthrough in that area. So Gerard, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, a notebook would be wonderful, Rose. Let me say a little bit about how I'm going to do this. So it's going to be interactive, and I'm going to ask you to share with me what you're wanting to get out of it in the next few minutes. But my name is Gerard Margetson. I am in Sydney, and I've been a coach for about a good 15 years now. I think October 2010. So we're coming on to 16 years later this year. So the basics of tonight is I'm going to share with you about abundance after asking you what did you want to get an abundance in, and I'm assuming most of you it might be money, but it's okay if it's not. And then I'll create like the definition, and then we'll look at like what's in the way, and then how to be free of that basically by the end of it. I will try and keep it as short as possible because I know that we started a little bit later, but I'll try and get every little juicy bit in. Okay. So the first thing I just want to check in, you're okay to share in the chat. If you share in the chat, I won't read it out aloud, but if you'd like to say, what would you like to cause a breakthrough in abundance in? Or if you like, if you've got the hand up thing, I could say, if anyone would like to say money, given the time of year that we're looking at around the end of financial year, and I believe that it's the theme for this month around finances. If you want to just raise your hand or raise your digital hand if you're off camera. Fantastic, thank you. Oh, two. Is there three? Is that three? And then I want to check in. Is that you're welcome to come off microphone and come onto mic and say what it is you would like to have. I'm open to lots of options. Go ahead, Michelle.
Hi, Gerard. I'd like abundance in energy.
Perfect. We can do that.
To be able to connect with the right sort of people.
Oh, fantastic. I can even do you a double deal. Energy and abundance of the people you need.
Okay. Yep. Sounds great.
Love that one. Anyone else? Any other takers? So finance, energy, and abundance of people that we need.
What am I looking for? Yes, abundance, wealth, energy, money, health, and all that. But I think also wisdom and discernment. Because I truly believe that we're over the 80s, 90s abundance, Tony Robbins day, rah, rah, rah. I think even though there's some good positive things in there, what I'm trying to say is that the next 15, 20 years, I think, are going to be crucial for humanity. So it's not going to be only about being plugged into the mainstream. It's going to be, lots of it's going to be about what Kelly's talking about being ready, but being able to be into two sort of systems, a parallel one and one that, a future that we're building. So there you go. Thanks for your listening.
Perfect. Good work. And sorry, I don't know your partner's name, but you were trying to talk before and you were on mute. You're welcome to share if you'd like to.
Thank you.
No worries. And by the way, you're welcome to take notes, everyone. And also, I would at least recommend you have at least one thing that you want to cause an abundance around, because it's very practical use. And if you want to follow these steps another time in the future, you're welcome to write those notes about how I'm going to do this. And then you can sort of follow it again, right? So
I was just going to say I'm unmuted.
Yay! Go ahead, Anna.
Yeah. I've done a lot of inner work and I've, harnessed that spiritual abundance, taken a lot of time out and time beyond the planet. But I'm really interested I've sort of been in a hermit situation for some time. And I've been working on and really extensive research on getting chemicals out of our textiles and getting the spirit of the animals back into our clothing. Let's put it that way. So I'm interested in abundance in communication and informing for this level of knowledge for our communities. Yeah, because what we're wearing at the moment is poisoning the brain and the body, causing ADHD, causing, autoimmune disease, destroying our marine life. It's huge, and it's ignored. Like what we're wearing are very slow killers for who we can be, and it compromises everything. The same as our food systems. So I always say what we put on our tongue is the same as what we should have on our skin, right? Yeah. So I'm interested in abundance and communication.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that one. I will tell you, I have in the past said no to a couple of people who asked for abundance. One person asked for an abundance of focus, and I said, oh, please, not that one, because that would be like looking at a newspaper and not getting past the first letter, because your abundance of focus is more than you need, like constantly there. So you wouldn't need to go to the next letter, because it would be so fascinating to be focused on that first letter of the first word of the first paragraph. So I don't recommend that one. And I did have someone say that they wanted an abundance of work, but that would be like 20 different jobs. Like an abundance of opportunity, sure. I wouldn't recommend an abundance. And I love, someone once created an abundance of love. That one's good. I don't recommend an abundance of partners, because that can get a little bit busy. If you've got a really tight schedule, it's not very helpful. And you laugh now, but there were people who are like, oh yeah, I want an abundance of love and this and that. I'm like, you've just got to be careful what you wish for, because there are limits to what is positive abundance, and sometimes a bit overwhelming. And I will warn you, I'm polyamorous, so like I do have more than one partner. So I can tell you it is a very dangerous thing to go down that path and find out you can have more than one. Anyway, not the conversation we're having tonight, right? So what I'm gonna do now, that's chaos. It is big. It has been, and there's ways to get around it. So here's what I'll create with you, right? So is there anyone who doesn't have something that they want to get yet? Keeping an eye out, and it's okay if I get it as a message. Okay, once, twice, sold. So everyone's got at least one thing. Okay, so tonight, the first thing I'll start with is defining what abundance is like, right? Because we all have different versions of what abundance can look like, but my creation of it is more than you need, never-ending supply, never to run out, never to dry up, not to stop at one point or pause, constantly available, at fingertips reach every moment of every time, and it's been there forever. It's always going to be there, and worse, it's there right now. So each of you have chosen an area that you're looking at causing abundance in, and here's a weird assertion. You already have exactly what you need in abundance right now. So I'll say that one more time. So it's more than you need, never to run out, never to dry up, constantly available, and you already have an abundance of what you need right now. Now, here's what I'm hoping for is you are welcome to say, that sounds great and wonderful, and give me the nice version of it. And I'm also open to someone saying what it's like hearing that and going, I don't think I've experienced that personally. So is there anyone who would like to be the brave one, to be the first one to share and say, let me know your area again, which one you've chosen, right? Whether it was communication or there were so many good ones, especially money. Yeah, please come on, unmute and say, I'd like to go first. Who's brave? Thank you, Andrew.
Harold. I'll go with the abundant finance.
Perfect. And now that you've heard me say, like, it's already there, and never to dry up. It's always been there. It's always going to be there. There's an abundance of money all the time around you. What do you hear?
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, got it. And what else would you say about that? Like, what's it like for you?
I would say what comes to mind for me is like I've been to seminars before and I've tried things and it doesn't seem to work. And there's always something. It always seems to be obstacles or something in the way where I can't actually achieve the abundance that I'm after.
Yeah, I get that. Thank you for sharing that. And I promise you we'll get to solve that, but we'll come back to that. And I've got a message here. Money never enough all around me, but yeah, not in my wallet. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good one. Anyone else? I promise this is the best part. This part, I'm really looking for someone to cough up the frog and say, this is how, nah, I don't have it. This is why. And it's okay if you've got.
I'll come forward with
Thank you, Anna.
some observations. I've always been in a place of enormous abundance until I did a journey to Peru to open up protocols between Peru and Australia. And it was a very long time, but then lost everything and had really serious PTSD. And I took time off the planet. I sort of had an ND when I was in my early 20s. So I've always been coming and going. So I took real time out and lived on minimal requirements. Really happy, really happy. I got to a place of not desiring anything. And I had to get back into the world. And I realized to get back into the world, I had to create a desire for something because I was without desire for anything. So it's been really interesting getting back into what I call getting back into the saddle again and getting back to something that was always very familiar, that was having an enormous amount of abundance around me and never being without. So I'm in an interesting position now of recreating abundance. And so this communication area I'm very interested about. I'm setting up 2 collectives for designers and another one. So I'm just at that point of going and reaching out to see who wants to come in to co-support. I know we have to be in a collective to really create something special. So it's not just me. I'm after an alignment of people who are going to be in the same intentional mind to carry this forward together. And it's also, for me, I've done a huge amount of research and found the solutions, found beautiful answers. And so I also want to set up a legacy for others to take it forward. There you go. That's where I'm at.
Beautiful, beautiful. And would you say that, like, I'm really clear too that there's no one on this call that doesn't have some area in life that is already abundant, particularly. And I love what you were saying, where you've experienced it and you've had that before. And at the moment, there's this one part which is, I don't even think it's like difficult for you. I think communication isn't something that you're concerned about in terms of having it or not, but having enough of it to get what you need. Is that right?
Probably. I'm actually a writer, and so writing is a very much a contained area. It's a matter of finding the right people who are in the same mind. I think that's where I'm at. It's like who's going to be out there, who's going to come into that same passion and seeing what some really profound solutions are for cleaning up this textile industry. So yeah, I'm at that point of trying to find the right people who are going to be in the same field of thought. That's
you might want to steal Michelle's one as well, then, of an abundance of the right people.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
that's right.
Yeah, critical. You have the right people in there and on different thought fields and different frequencies, it won't work. Yeah.
And would you have anything to say about why you don't have those people right now?
Oh, I'm just coming into. I've just come in to put real attention onto getting a collective together.
Yeah.
And yeah, seeing who wants to come in and play together.
Mm.
I've just been writing it up this last week and reaching out to some people in Melbourne. So yeah.
Because like mathematically speaking, even if you got 1% of the world involved, that would be 8 million people, wouldn't it? I think we're up to 8 billion on the planet, aren't we?
Yes.
So
So
even 1% of
1%.
the world
Oh, I
is
like that.
way too many people. You might be like, oh, that's a few too many. I could get some group leaders to help with like having locations around the world to set that sort of thing up, right?
I'll take 8 million. That's
8 million is good. Yeah, that's fine. I often do this around people, do around relationships, and based in Sydney, and if you're in Melbourne as well, those two cities are really bad because if you're single and you're looking for a relationship, mathematically speaking, there's at least 5 million people in each city, and half a male, half a female. So you can, it's technically more women, but in both cases, but it's closest to about halfway. So even going down, I worked out on the average, the perfect person for everyone is between 5 to 7,000 people that are perfect for you. So the problem is, if any of you are single, mathematically you're doing really well against the grain because the abundance of people that are available for a relationship that are not just available but actually perfect for you is like literally 5 to 7,000, and 5,000 only if you're extremely picky. If you're not too picky, it can go up to 10,000 to 15,000 for some people.
That's the best information.
Yeah. And that's based on statistics of the regions that we're talking about, right? I'm in Sydney, so it's like from the coastline to the Blue Mountains, Newcastle to Wollongong. So if you can get, that's the 5 million people. So the question is always then, where are they, right? And then was there some, Michelle, remind me your two again. It was abundance of people and energy.
Yeah,
That's
energy.
right. Can you tell me a bit, sorry, Michelle, come back on for us. Tell me a little bit more about that. Like now you've heard there's an abundance of energy. Like there is enough. If I gave you an extra 24 hours a day, right? And the energy to fulfill on that, do you know you'd still be tired?
So what was your question?
No, I was just saying, like, if I gave you an extra 24 hours and all the energy to fulfill on, like, we gave you some sort of like, special magic potion that would give you all the energy to last the whole day and do all the things you wanted to do, you'd still feel tired and run out at the end of that day. And you'd still, for people who like want an abundance of time, if I gave those very busy people an extra 24 hours, they actually would still have not enough time to complete all the things they need to complete in one day, even if it was a 40-hour day, 48-hour day. So tell me a bit more about what's it like at the moment when I'm saying you've got an abundance of energy. Surely there's like, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, the energy I'm seeking is not actually physical energy for myself. It's the energy of the people that I connect with around me. So the frequency family. So
fantastic. Yeah. So the abundance of the right, it's sort of like we were saying with Anna, like the right people as well, the right frequency. Oh, I love that. Okay, cool. And you're not experiencing that at the moment, is that right?
No, I've had periods where people are coming forward and then for whatever reason, things just start to dissipate.
Got it.
And so we're sort of working towards the same thing initially, and then like it's like their energy depletes, and so that then the things that I'm bringing forward are like it's too much, too far ahead, too much for them.
Yeah, got that. And I hear that you've had it before to some degree, some abundance, and what you're wanting to do is get that again and also potentially more.
Yes.
Okay, good. And you're not clear on what's stopping you, like what's been the thing that's been dissipating the groups. So it's like a confusion's almost been in the way.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, good. And also I'm giving everyone absolute permission. Like, I know that I'm a stranger, and I've given up my time to be here, but I actually am looking for someone coughing up the frog and saying, that sounds great, but let me explain. And I'm not saying that you don't have to be mean about it, but you can also be like, let me tell you the truth of this one. Like, one of my favorites was, I had someone who goes, I'm impoverished. I have $0 in my bank account. Where's my abundance of finance? My money, where's that? So I'm looking for, if there's anyone who feels like they're comfortable to share whatever way they feel, and you don't have to be negative about it necessarily, but if there's something that you're hearing me say it and it sounds really great, but you're not experiencing it right now, I'd like to hear about that. Go ahead, Vic.
A thought that came to my mind was that we expect certain things from others and they don't play out. Yeah. It's a bit like when we go out and drive on the roads, we expect everybody to be good. That's because of our expectations. So I'm wondering whether that's affecting Michelle's frequency issues, where that could be a factor.
And what's yours again?
Wisdom.
Wisdom, fantastic. And in wisdom, do you already experience abundance, or are there limitations to that?
Well, I don't know, because I'm not really comparing it to anyone else. It's just there, you know what I'm saying? And I guess for me, wisdom might come down to nothing more than mindfulness. You know, just being mindful of what you're doing.
Oh, I'll be honest with you, you're jumping ahead of the gun, but I like it.
Okay. All right.
It's good. No, it's good. But no, perfect. Anyone else? And it's okay if you don't feel like sharing at the moment.
If I can jump in.
Please do.
Yeah. I have been feeling like abundance of ease.
Of what, sorry?
Something of ease.
Of ease, yep.
Yes. But something what is in me, it's not, I have feeling that I have it, but when I'm trying to do anything, it's like not synchronization between something what I'm doing and the situation outside. It's like all the time something is shifting, but it's not something what's happening outside. I have feeling that it's happening here in me, that I'm doing something, but the situation is or in the future or in the past.
Yes.
Yes, but my feeling is more like it's here. So even when you ask on the beginning, what is the abundance? Yes, and how I feel, for example, that I have it all. I didn't have anything in my mind. It was more in my body. I just felt like, okay, something is going on, and I felt a little bit squashed.
Yeah.
And this is something what I noticed, that my body, my mind, no, but the body starts to react. So it's not from outside, but here.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, one of the things I would say, which is so fantastic, what you were just sharing, right, is you even know what the experience is like of ease and peacefulness. I would even go as far to say, right, you've had that experience, and then when you interact outside of you, then it becomes dependent on, you know, the past, the future, the things that are going on, and then it might dissipate or disappear, but you know how to get it back when you're on your own. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but something what I noticed, because Polish is my second language, and this is something what I find out in English, that we have the peace and ease. Peace when you calm down a little bit, but ease when you the things can happen very fast or very slow, whatever, but you are regulated. You are able to do the things whatever speed is, and the ease. This for me, calm is like, okay, I'm calm. I don't have to do anything. Yeah, but it's not possible to do it every time. For example, if I'm driving very fast, I cannot be in peace, because otherwise something could happen. I need to be adjusted to the situation. So that's why I'm saying about the ease.
Yeah. I want you to hold on to what you just said, just so that you've heard it for yourself, right? So if you were driving if you had ease, you might be in an accident because you're not paying attention. Is that right?
No, it's more like when I have a ease, there's no accident because everything's happening fast and I can adjust to this fast environment as well.
Gotcha. Okay,
But if I would like to slow down where everything's happening fast, this could be this could end with the accident because I'm too calm, but everything's going too fast.
Gotcha. Yeah. And here's a little bit of brain science, right? The just at the back of your head, the part that connects to the spine, the part of the brain is called the amygdala, and many of you may know about this. It's the part of the brain that actually thinks first, and so it's the thing that if you go to touch something hot, it's the thing that takes your hand back before you even have the thought, oh wow, that's too hot. And it also is the thing that our ancestors in the prehistoric times, where if something's coming to eat you, you either ran, hid, or stood still, like the fight flight response. That's called the amygdala. It's the part of the brain that like makes us react immediately. It sends adrenaline through our body to make us go, or it shuts everything down to be silent and still, or it has you take the action that you need to take before you have the thought, oh, I better run now. Like the thought actually they've discovered comes 3 seconds late to the action that you're already taking. So if you, like I say, if you touch something hot, the signal to the brain, from the brain to the hand, comes from the amygdala first, and then the thought, oh, that's really hot, happens about 3 seconds later, right? So there's this wonderful thing where you go, there's an automation to reacting to external forces, right? You perceive something and you react. So it's like it's an immediate response. But what you're saying is coming back into that ease. Yeah.
I would like to somehow adjust it. Like my body is supposed to work with the rest of the, so everything's supposed to work together, like in coherence. I think it's this good word, but in this moment, it's just everything is working by themselves.
Yes, gotcha. So you got it's too much fragmentation.
Yeah.
Separateness of it all. Yeah, you want it all in alignment. I get. Yeah. So it's not that you lack alignment. It's just when things are going fast, things get fractured and separate and not aligned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. That's really great work, by the way, because the next part of the puzzle relies heavily on what you've just said, right? Is there anyone else before I move on to the next bit?
You can do it, right?
It's unmuted.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Hi, Joel.
No, it is.
Are we unmuted?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for your patience, Anna. It's so basically, I resonate with everything that's been said. The thing that I would throw in there is at the end of the day, especially if we're looking with about financial abundance and whatnot. So it's either going to be a product or a service that we're going to do and that we're going to scale and that's going to bring in income, or we just go get a good high paying job. Right. So there's only so many choices. The monkey wrench that I'd like to throw in there too would be, okay, so let's say I work through my obstacles and I'm able to create a business, offer a product or service and scale it and make money. The one that I'll throw out there is doing it into an environment where there's freedom. Because I don't want to be too doomsday or whatnot, but they introduced CBDC, central bank digital currency. They don't like your product or service. You may just get restricted.
Yeah.
So it's building abundance in. And then using, AI is really good at that there. You can throw different case scenarios out there, but being able to feed that forward for what might be there. So there you go. That aspect, another one, I like to make things complicated. Stay with me.
Please do.
Something that's good and healthy for the planet, and is just not just abundance. Like, I volunteered a year and a half in the slums of Panama, and we're watching something about you know, Awakening the Dreamer. It's a series by I forget who. And at one point, I'm watching this video, and we're going through how much resources Western countries are using versus, you know, developing nations. And it's like, well, obviously we're using more because we're consuming more. And these people are poor, and they like not to be poor too. So if you're going to develop some kind of abundance, well, make sure it's ethical and that you're uplifting the planet, not just yourselves. There you go. Thanks for listening.
No, thank you. Thank you. Look, one of the things that I had is that I had a client once who said he wanted to be a millionaire. But then when I noticed there was something about that, so I asked him, what do you think about millionaires? And he goes, millionaires are horrible people that take all the money and hoard all the wealth. And I was like, okay, so I've got two options for you. You can have financial freedom and keep everything the way it is, the way you feel about it, or you have to give up your opinion about millionaires, because you won't be able to be a millionaire if your confliction is one intention to be a millionaire and one never to be that type of person. Yeah, right. So like it's one of those things that's really interesting, because I love what you're saying, which is like I want to be like, if there's a business or a service that I'm providing and I'm getting money from that, or causing an income through hours and swapping time for money, I want that not to be constricted by external forces, where someone like I heard of someone who was sharing about how they had a business on Facebook Marketplace, and then Facebook closed down their account because a person gave a thing saying this person isn't a real business. And there was no checking. There was no question from Meta. There was no interaction. They spent days, months trying to get through to Meta and finally get someone to reopen their account, because they had all the proof that they were a real business and everything. And they got hit at like just around their busiest period of time. And that took a hit. So they didn't experience an abundance in that moment, but they had up to that point, right? So I get what you're saying, like the restriction of external forces or external organizations having control over how we get that money. Like even having money in a bank account and then access to that bank is on hold because of a hack or something like that, and you need that money right now is another example. It's a different one, but you know, it was sort of talking the same thing, right? Where something stops us from experiencing that abundance. And yeah, look, the joke is, if you really want to make $1 million, like you said it perfectly, if you create 5 different ways to make $5, 10 different ways to make 10, and keep going up in increments, and you do all the ones that you like the sound of first, all the ones that work, you might repeat them. Some of them will help pay for the other ones until you get up to the point where you've got 1 million ways to make $1 million, and you only need one of them to work to make you a millionaire.
Right.
But the problem is usually we could write that list and not get to the end of it, because we'll never get, like, we get up to a certain point and go, I tried 5 ways to make $5 and it didn't work out. I give up. And that's it. Right. Not saying you would, but I'm just saying like, we logically know that we could do that. And we logically know that it is totally possible to have more income coming in than money going out. And that would make you wealthy, full stop.
Right.
And there would be things that stop us, both external and, like I was sharing before, internal as well. There's like limits to what we will achieve because we have an intention to cause that, and then other intentions to fulfill on something totally different. There's too many CEOs out there who are like, I am committed to being wealthy or to have success in a form of being powerful in business. And their entire relationships fall apart because they spend so much time and focus on their business that they don't have connection with their partner. Their kids grow up without parents because they just don't interact with them, because they're constantly working and constantly chasing the next dollar. Right? So there's limitations, both external and internal as well, right? On all these areas. And that's what I'm wanting everyone. So I just want to check in. Is there anyone that's got a yeah, but what if? Because that was really great, Joel, by the way. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that has like that all sounds really nice, but?
Yeah, I could say something to that one.
Sure.
I think particularly people that are in the freedom space, I guess, there's a lot of awareness about all the crap that's going on in the world, right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, people are thinking, how can I possibly plan into the future when there's so much uncertainty in the future? So that I gotta say I've often struggled with that. Like before, all I was aware of all this stuff that's going on. It seemed fairly straightforward that you can plan ahead. Things seem sort of predictable. You can, your trajectory. If you go and, things you can count on things happening. But when there's so much uncertainty, it makes it tricky to work out how do you move forward when the sand keeps shifting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think when I reflect on that, I think part of that is you're depending too much on circumstances to get your abundance. So if your circumstances are changing, your whole thing falls apart. So somehow you need to think of abundance without having it tied to circumstances. Otherwise, with all the shifting ground coming around, how do you move forwards?
Yeah. It's really interesting, right? I love what you're saying. And there's two things that I'd like to go into, right? So especially around money, I'm going to divert for a little second, come back hopefully if I can keep my train of thought on what you just said too.
Yeah.
That right now, in this moment, just like our Wi-Fi signals are zipping around zeros and ones everywhere right now, there are billions of dollars being transacted right now globally. In the air above you right now, numbers are flying through the air to each other into different accounts, other accounts. People are buying on Amazon and buying on online, and there are also people sending invoices and buying things from other countries and booking in services overseas right now. Well, I don't know what parts of the world are awake and not right now. And business is transacting, and as Joel was talking about before, like there's a lot of that going on. Like it's either a service, a business, or it's someone working really hard. There's people in mines right now who are making millions of dollars from just constantly working, and all their food and everything's paid for and accommodation. So they just come back and then they've just got money to burn. So there's lots of options for how to cause wealth, and it's constantly available around us. It's just tapping into that firstly, right? And we already talked about like 100 different ways to make $100, and those increments up it's very easy to sort of do once you get started. And it can be a lot of fun because you should only do the things that work, and the only things that you should also do are the things that you enjoy doing as well. Like there's no point building rafts and yachts for people if you hate building yachts. I love doing origami. I would really hate it if I had to do 1 billion origamis to, decorate someone's wedding. I would love doing it at first, and then I'd hate doing it by the time I got to the end of doing a couple of billion origami cranes, right? Like it would just get to a point where I'm like, ugh, stuff it. No, I'm not doing this anymore. So like there's that, right? And sorry, could you remind me, Andrew? Sorry, you said some beautiful things. Can you sort of give me some highlights of what you said again? Because I don't want to miss what you said. Oh, sorry, you're on mute again.
Yeah, about how to think about moving forward in abundance with the uncertainty that's ahead of us.
Yeah. So when I decided that I was going to be full-time a coach, it was in 2019, around about November. And a couple of months later, we went into lockdown and COVID times kicked in. And I got busier in that period of time. And it was such a contrast because there were people who were losing their jobs, and there were baristas who were becoming bakers, and there were, people who in hospitality who went and studied a new skill and then became, they started heading towards totally new careers. You had people who, change things, and then people who were stuck, you know, where they were. And it's not good or bad, that it was just very interesting, right? And one of my clients that I'd had for a couple of years up to that point as well, there was just this conversation that accidentally happened where I said to her, do you like living where you are? She was in Randwick in the middle of the city. And she's like, oh, I live next to a national park, like a little strip of nature. So, you know, I live with nature, even though I live in the city. I live up high, so I feel like I'm in my treetop bungalow. But up to that point, she'd also complained about her strata. She'd complained about her neighbor who kept stealing her mail. And she was telling me all these horrible things about living there. And she was really over it, but she was like hanging on to the banana called, but I love my treetop bungalow. And even to the point, the strata was actually ready to like redo the balconies, and they were going to cover the balconies in these big tarps. So her beautiful view was going to disappear for 6 months while they redid all the balconies in all the buildings. And I'm like, you're not happy there. Where would you like to be? And she goes, well, it's impossible with everything that's going on right now. I can't move. Like, you just can't move. I can't travel. I can't do all these things. It was a few months in, like, I think we're quite into it at the time. And I said, yeah, but if you could be anywhere, where would you want to be? And she said, far north Queensland, like Cairns or somewhere close to there. And we sat down and we wrote out a 7-month plan of like how long it would take her for to sell her the property that she had, buy the property up there. And she was like, and I'm not just going to fly up to Queensland and move into a property. I want to travel. I want to go to all these places. And a lot of these places were closed and you couldn't go there, right? So anyway, here's the joke. We wrote out this plan and I got her to put a date on each of the things, each of the milestones of when she would be there. And on the milestone that was supposed to be when the settlement would go through, she called me on Zoom and said, I'm in the house. I've actually been able to come in and out of the house, but the settlement day is today. And so I can finally move in properly, because what had happened was the owners had been looking for someone perfectly to suit their community, because it wasn't just one house on some land. All the houses were connected by pathways and it was a community of people. So they wanted the right person, and she was the right person for them. And they did a deal with her where she could stay in the carport area, plug in her motorhome, and she could actually stay there until the settlement was done. But she's like, oh, you know, I'm going to have problems with my toilet. Oh, that's all right. Here's the keys. Go in and out of the house as much as you like to go to the toilet. Just don't move in until settlement. And she went, okay. And then she's literally on her computer going, this is me moved in. My furniture and everything arrives tomorrow in a shipping container that I packed 7 months ago when we said, let's make this happen. And every milestone that she had, she hit it right on the head. And that to the fact that we fight on the final day, hit it right on the head. Like on the day that she said settlement would happen, it was already done. Like she'd gone to the post office or something, and there was something that the lawyers had sent that was the final paperwork that was like, this is done, sign the thing. Yep, it's mine. And it was like all the things that would have been absolutely preventing her. You're not allowed to travel at the time. You weren't allowed to travel between when she came up with this plan, the border was closed between Queensland and New South Wales. At the time, she didn't want to ever take the vaccine, and that would have had her in certain places restricted. She didn't have any problem going where she needed to go and do what she needed to do. She hit every mark where she wanted, including she wasn't even thinking about looking for the property. And a friend called her and said, I've seen something. It's just outside of Cairns. You should check this out. She got in the RV and drove straight across the border, straight up there, and bam. And it was just everything sort of, the border was closed. Then it opened. And then that got out of the way. This went wrong. That got solved. Hit the target every single time. Don't know how to explain it to someone who didn't experience it with her, right? But it's one of these weird things where it just always just kept moving on. And by the way, I'm really noticing that we've hit like 8:30. So I really appreciate, I know most of you were planning to like be gone by now. So thank you for sticking with us. We're about to get to the best bit, right? Mm-hmm. So is there anything that I sort of missed for you around that, Andrew? And I'm sorry, I know you just turned yourself back on mute.
No, that's good. But what you're saying there, that seems to suggest that you ignore all the obstacles that are in front of you. You write down on a piece of paper what you want to achieve, and it just happens.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you a little bit extra then. Ready? So this is the thing that I want to then move into the next part of the conversation. So the first part of the conversation was all the things that we're talking about to why we don't have the area that we want with abundance. So would you like to know the secret to experience abundance at all times that way, constantly in any area of life, especially the one that you're wanting to get it in now? Give me some nods, some thumbs up. Yep, got a few nods, got thumbs up. Good work. Okay, you ready? You're not. It's going to take a minute. Not for everyone. I'm thinking this is a pretty good crowd, by the way. So the main ingredient to accessing abundance is getting rid of the things that we say to ourselves, to others, that we think in the dark recesses of our mind, that thing that is, this is why I can't have it. Or it might be the thing you explain to someone. Oh, I can't, look, my client was like, I can't move to Queensland. Let me give you all my reasons. It might be really justified. Let me give you my justification why this is just not viable. Let me tell you all my excuses, all my reasons, and let me tell you about them. Except there's one thing that you should notice. Excuses, justifications, and reasons. They're all aftermaths. They all happen after the thing that you were going to do or the action that you need to take to get what you want or to even to experience that abundance. It's after. But honestly, we use that type of language before the deadline, before we want to get to the thing, or even whether or not we're going to take an action, because it's the thing that we have before, like, so the thing that you want to experience abundance in any particular area, just look at the area and what is it you say to yourself, to anyone else that will listen or share about it. So in example, if you have conversations around money, that there are reasons why it is just not going to work to have that amount. One thing that I've noticed, there's a really great author, if anyone's interested in checking this person out. Her name is Florence Scovel Shinn. And she's so that's Florence Scovel Shinn for those who are taking notes. And she called herself a metaphysician at the turn of the 1800s to the 1900s. And she lived in New York. And she had this very interesting concept around money. She's like, don't tell me the amount that you want to have. Tell me what you want it for. Like, instead of saying, I want $1 million, I literally had a client who I said, what do you want right now? Like, what are we going to head towards for you? And he goes, I want $1 million. And I went, great. And if we get that, what are you going to use that for? He goes, oh, I'd invest in property. Okay, great. And then what would you do with that? Well, I'd take the investment, the money that I get out of the investment, and I'd put it towards stocks and shares. Okay, great. And if you had $1 billion now from all of that investment, what would you do with that money? And it kept being about causing more money. And I said, if you had all the money on the planet, what would you use it for? And he got stuck. And all it was is he just wanted to have his mum and him have a great life. And I went, you don't need $1 million. You can have a great life with no money. But if you want $1 million, sure. Like, great. But tell me what you want to use it for. Is it the holiday you want to go on? Is it the organization that you want to build so that you have the resources for that? What is it that you want it for? Like, how are we going to get that? Because, by the way, for those of you who've been talking about groups and organizations, I really love that, by the way. I love an abundance of people being involved in things. Sharing what you love, people get inspired. People get connected. Abundance of people that are the right people, just sharing what you love, it's infectious. and then those people share what they love about what you said, and then they tell other people and tell other people, and then you get overwhelmed. Anna and I were talking about like the 8 million people is 1% of the entire world's population. It can literally grow that big because it's just a series of conversations and not getting stopped. And someone says, oh, that's a stupid idea. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate your feedback. It doesn't matter because it's not changing anything about what it is for you. Someone says, I don't agree. Oh, great. I'm glad that you don't agree. You're welcome to. I don't mind. Like, honestly, if I've said anything tonight that sounds wrong or incorrect, I take it back. I apologize. If there's anything that you need from me to say to correct it, I'll happily take the correction, because I'm not the guru that knows everything. I'm just someone who plays around with this lovely concept of abundance. And like, it's just one of these wonderful things of like the naturalness of, I was sharing this with Andrew before we started, before I got to be on here. And I think Kelli and I have maybe spoken about it as well, but this idea that abundance was so natural for our, I don't want to say primitive, I want to say Neolithic, like that hunter-gatherer style relationship that we had as a community once upon a time. And then we had this, like, we went where things were that we needed. It was cold, we went where it was warmer. We were hungry, we went where we know where the food is, we'll go over there. We run out of food, we go somewhere else because that's where the food is now. We're thirsty, we go where the water is. Where we need protection, we go where it's safe. And then one day we start doing those things in one place. And we become positional, both location-wise. Okay, I'm growing the crops here, or I'm farming the animals in this location. Now I need to make here work. I become positional in my mind as well as my location, because now I have to defend this. I have to be right about this. And then all of a sudden, from these communities of people that moved around and experienced things together as this community, it becomes us and them who are not part of us. And there's a whole lot of literature about like the beginnings of like deciphering how people were back then, because there's a lot of like nomads still around today, that, you know, hunter-gatherer societies that still have a lot of things around that. But going back to like this concept of the main thing that stops you, in fact, I would even go as far as to say the only thing that stops you from experience abundance in the area of life that you've chosen tonight is all the things that you say, think, feel, and express to anyone else that will listen. To the extent that the main reason that people don't have an abundance of time is the amount of worry. The main reason people don't experience wealth is that wealth can exist in many different forms as additional to money. You can have, I've literally had a person on one of these types of conversations where they were like, oh, I don't have enough money to fly to Perth from Sydney. And if I go to Perth, I will get $1 million deal. But I don't have the money to get to Perth right now. And then when we got to this part of the conversation, they said the biggest problem that they had was they didn't want to accept money from anyone because they didn't want to owe anyone any money. Even if they got the $1 million deal, when they get there, they'd rather be not getting the $1 million deal so they don't owe anyone any money, and don't owe anyone because they might ask for a favor that I can't say yes to. And the wonderful thing about all of this, like, I know I'm talking to the right people because a few people have already said, I know Kelli said mindset as an example. Whatever you believe is true will be true. You say that there's a barrier, the barrier is there. You say, like, I love what Andrew was saying. He started getting into that, like, I can see that if I write the plan and then I just head towards that goal, that'll get me there. Yes, and the other piece of the puzzle is this mindset part. This, what's in my thinking, my experience, and it's a little bit more subconscious even. It's our intention behind getting it. Because if my intention is to not be a millionaire because millionaires are horrible people, then you will never be a millionaire. If your intention is to get some I want $1 million. Well, those pieces of plastic that we have are technically worthless. If you take them to a different country and you can't find an exchange, it doesn't matter if you have $1 billion US. You can't change it, then you can't eat. It's like having a glass in the desert. If you don't have water in it, it's not useful. You're not going to carry it around for very long. You could go to a community of people that only use shells as currency and experience, no matter how much gold you have, they're not interested. Like, they might trade you a little bit if you're lucky. Sorry, I just got to say, Vic, I absolutely love it. Millionaires are fine, but billionaires are horrible. I would go further, trillionaires. But yeah, 100%. Like, getting back to it, it's like, what is it that you believe or feel or think that is stopping you from experiencing what's already massively abundant there? Is there anyone who would like to share so that we can like head towards wrapping up? Is anyone who wants to share that something new that they're getting for themselves? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, in this abundance area, I think your preparation is absolutely critical. I know with doing all the research for opening up protocols between Peru and Australia, I had 8 years of research in there. And when everything was right, I was able to bring in about the first 6 million in 1 week, right? Because all the research had been done, right? So I had everybody on board. So to me, take your time with the research and make sure you've got everything in place.
100%.
Yeah.
And another thing, like Michelle and you both had this one as well. I have 2 hands in 24 hours. As I add more people to the community, I add hands in 24 hours. In other words, what I can achieve in my time frame and what I can achieve with others equals and expands. And then you shouldn't. I once had this friend of mine who was starting a charity, and she was very religious, and she said, I am okay with people who can give us money to help fulfill on the charity. I'm okay with people who have time available and they give us their time to help be volunteers. I'm okay with people who don't have the time and they don't have the money, but they're connected to many people in their community. The number of hairdressers and taxi drivers that can build massive communities from being someone that's connected to you, where they go, oh, by the way, you should go and talk to Michelle. She's really clued on with what we really should be doing right now. And they finish their hair. They've got literally a captive audience and they share with everyone. Do you know, like, get yourself a couple of hairdressers, Michelle. You'll never know how big that'll get then. Or, like I say, taxi drivers are changing because of Uber, but the number of taxi drivers who've sold. There was this one guy who in the intermission between like taxis and then Uber slowly coming in, he used to have a taxi with a jewelry case in the passenger seat because he used to be a jeweler, and then he's driving around with this jewelry case, and people are like, what's all this about? He used to make money out of selling jewelry to passengers because they're like, that looks really interesting. It's like, yeah, I'm passionate about jewelry, and he just shares about what he loves. And then he sells more jewelry in his taxi than he did in his shop.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Right? Because he just wanted to share about what he loved. And his shop, something happened where, insurance didn't cover what he needed. So he ended up, in this taxi instead of selling jewelry. And he's like, I'm passionate about doing this. And so his mindset wasn't, well, you can't sell jewelry in a taxi. Apparently you can.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And thank you, Anna. I really appreciate what you're sharing. Anyone else? Is there anything else you wanted to share about what you're getting, what the conversation is opening up?
Sorry, Gerald. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you very much for the evening. I just got to go tend to a client right now. So
no worries. All right.
Thank you very much. Really enjoyed myself.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you for sticking with us as well. Awesome. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll say something. I know one of the traps that I often fall in is that feel like you need to have the complete roadmap of where you're going and have everything worked out before you move forwards.
Yep.
And that's like stepping out in faith and knowing just enough of your path to know to take the next step, rather than having to see the whole highway before you move forwards.
Yep. Let me give you 3 words that are like my mantra for life. I'm really good at cross stitch, if anyone knows that, how you do that. And I have learnt momentum over motivation. Starting, continuing, building, and going on and adding. I think Anna was saying like it took her 8 years to get to a point where she was ready to get the $1 million deals. The start is more important than the feeling like you're ready. Momentum over motivation. It's okay to be feeling motivational or feeling excited or things like that. It's being able to take the action when you don't feel like it that's actually more important. When you don't think you've got everything you need. I've led many webinars where I had the design of what I wanted to cover and not a word that I knew of what I was going to say. Progress over perfection. Yes, Kelly. Thank you. Sorry. I am seeing it in there. Yeah. And the thing is, lay out a plan. And if the plan doesn't work, change the plan. It's okay to learn how not to do something. What was it? I know there's a quote, and I don't know how real it is, but not Benjamin Franklin. So who's the Edison said, I found that, what was it, light bulb 800 and something or other. I found 800 and something ways not to make a light bulb. You only the joke is in that regard, right? You only need one of them to succeed. It doesn't matter how many you try. And that's why I say to people in relationships, like, 1 million ways to make $1 million, you only need one person to say yes to have a relationship. But, and this is true of a lot of things, right? Having that connection, having that connecting to people, building momentum in connection, in sharing, in all of that. And I'm really grateful. I've noticed I'm almost breaking into, like, you were planning all to be here till 8 o'clock, and I'm almost pushing you into 9. So I'm being very aware of the time. But is there anyone else who would like to share what you're getting out of this conversation? What's showing up now for you?
I think this exploration has been great. Yeah, and getting all sorts of angles and perspectives and perceptions, and, around that word abundance that can cover so many subjects. Yeah, and it really is a combination of a lot of subjects, isn't it? Like the spiritual aspect, like your quantum download, your marketing team upstairs, the mystery and the magic of the marketing team upstairs, and knowing that it's there for you to connect you. I think, and also where you are emotionally. Advanced sentience studies and experiences, I think, are incredibly important. So you learn to sort of, what I call be in that lightness of being. We're meant to play in this world of creation, and the lightness of being, I think, is the greatest mastery we can have over creating abundance.
I really love that. And I feel like I'm very easy to get away with saying this in front of all of you. Whatever you want to call it, the universal oneness is out to have you succeed at all costs. Like, it's out there to find a way to have you win. Most of the time, we don't have a oneness of thinking about what we want. We have, I want this, but only in this way. It's almost like, if I said it like this, if I was to make you a cake for your birthday, right? And I was listening into the conversation about what cake you wanted, and you're like, I really feel like a big mud chocolate cake. And then I go there, get all the ingredients together. I start baking it. And then I listen in again and I hear you go, oh, I'm giving up sugar. I need a carrot cake. I need a natural vegan carrot cake. No eggs, just perfectly vegan carrot cake. So I throw all the cake out and clean everything up. And I start with brand new ingredients and I start putting the cake together. And then I overhear you say, you know what? I don't even like cakes anymore. I want cookies. And okay, I throw away that. I get the new ingredients out. I get started again. And then you can, if you watch other people, it's very easy to see it in others more than ourselves. But I'm like, I want to, do this thing. Oh, now I want to do that thing. Now I'm interested in this. Now I want to go here. And I can't do that because of this. And I would love to, but no, I don't have enough time to do all the things that I love. Like, these are all the things that then the universe goes, oh, I thought you wanted that. Okay, I'll put that aside. But when you're in that, you don't have to be oneness of mind, but like when you get rid of, like, the marketing team aligns up. I love that analogy. The marketing team upstairs all aligning together, saying this is where we're going. And then all of a sudden, it's like every door opens. You walk towards something that is an absolute like Berlin Wall, and it just goes,
yes,
crumbles. Every path seems to be the right direction, even when you fail. Even when you're like, well, I looked at 100 properties and none of them are correct. And then there's one that just pops up because it just comes left of center. I've had so many clients that I've sent out to say, where is the person that you're looking for, this ideal person? Write me pages and pages of lists. Now tell me, what are they doing based on that list? What are they doing at Sunday afternoon at 4:00? Where are they? And this one person said, oh, this person would be in an Asian grocery store getting spicy foods because that's what I love. And we would enjoy that together. And I said, where? And he lived out quite far out. And he said, oh, I live in Liverpool, but he would probably live in Piedmont, close to the city. And I said, well, where are you going grocery shopping? And he goes, oh, I usually go local one. I went, no. And he went all the way to Piedmont. And he went through the grocery store and he was really disappointed because the person that he'd written down just wasn't there. Everyone that was in the Asian grocery store was oddly Asian, and he wanted someone that wasn't, but would enjoy the same food and speak the language that he speaks. And he gets on the bus a little deflated, but still very much like, it's going to happen. I just got to find the right grocery store or get the right place. And the guy next to him on the bus goes, oh, I just noticed you got some bok choy in there and you've got I see your chilies. What are you making? That was the guy that he ended up with. It wasn't in the grocery store. It was on the bus on the way home. Because the wonderful thing about the universe is it has a really good sense of humor.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, anything else anyone wants to share? Like I'm going to wrap up really soon. Anyone?
Gerard, I love that you and I have come from the same training and the mindset, because everything that Gerard has described, this is how I live my life. Yeah. This is how I found every house that I've ever lived in. This is how I found my ideal dream property. This is how I married my husband. Putting it out there and listening to the words that come out of your mouth is really key. The language that we use, and really believing that you can have anything. You can have it all. You can have anything that you want. You first need to believe in it, know what it is first, and then be able to work for it. You have to get off your butt, right? Be in the right place, go and do the right things, and allow, give yourself permission. A lot of us don't give ourselves permission. But I want to put it out there, Gerard, that you do amazing coaching. And I think, our community, our My Self Reliance community should be the happiest community in the world. We have so much at our fingertips. We have abundance. We have each other. We know how to connect. Why aren't we the happiest people on earth? We can be. And so I that's what I want. And so I'm leading and training in our 8 key pillars. The last key pillar is faith. And so knowing that you can have everything that you want and believing and trusting in yourself and in others. And, you know, I guess since COVID, a lot of people have lost that faith and trust. And Gerard's conversation tonight is putting that back in.
Yeah. I got to tell you, my favorite thing about doing this style of call is I used to call them abundance calls when I first started. And in over 30 calls, I've never once had anyone ask for an abundance of happiness. And you know what? It's funny that you mentioned it, Kelly. It's like, it's at the heart of what all of the abundance is anyway, isn't it? Like if you start with, I already have everything, you're already like, it's very joyous. It's very freeing when you start from that. That's where you start from. And then it's also really easy to give it away to others, because you can't be the happiest person in the room if everyone's miserable. It's so easy to then go like almost at giving it to everyone else, making sure everyone else gets what you've got, that you've got that freedom to share. Thank you. I really love that.
So I want you to, in a moment, Gerard, to share how people can connect with you if they want more of your coaching. And also for our next Tuesday night call, we actually have a panel discussion, and that's open to everyone. Visitors and guests alike. So we're having a panel discussion on again, finances, on investing, either property or precious metals or crypto. Find out all there is to know about those sides of things. And the Tuesday after is our last Tuesday of the month, and it's a coaching session on helping you find a voice to your vision. So helping you to create and articulate. If you're a person who's a little bit shy to speak, maybe you love community, but you're not the first one to put up your hand and speak, and maybe you like to sit in the audience rather than be on center stage. This is where Dr. Gary is coming on to help us find our voice. And so he's also doing a retreat in September at Lily Ponds, 3 hours north of Sydney. It's a 3-day retreat. It's called the Voice to Vision Leadership Retreat. And so you can find out about that on the website, myselfreliance.com.au. And, you know, we'd love to we're building leaders in My Self Reliance. So, Gerard, at that same, Gerard, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
I answered it both, so don't worry.
By the same token, I think that we need to have more of these conversations, these abundance conversations. And so if you are looking to become a leader in your community or in the My Self Reliance community, that's what our 5th Tuesday of the month is for leaders. And so you can apply to be on that call. And also, you know, we should talk more about creating a workshop for our leaders. Wouldn't that be fun? And not just maybe a workshop, maybe a retreat, something that we can really spend some more time talking about this and going deep.
Yeah, fantastic. I've popped my website in the chat, but for those who are maybe watching the recording later, it's abundancecall.com.au is my website. And you can find my availability literally as a link to book in a call with me, or you can contact me in any shape or form on the website. I think there's like a contact us section. So yeah, easiest way to get in touch with me. And I put my full name, Gerard Margetson. I think it's on there on my thing as well, if you want to write that down. So yeah, I'm easy to find on most social media, I believe. But yeah, thank you so much, Kelly. I really appreciate it. And by the way, I would like to say thank you to all of you for letting me come in here and create this with you. It was so wonderful, and I felt so welcomed by you all. So thank you so much as well. And I really appreciated everything that you shared and created. It was really beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. You're awesome. And we shall see you next Tuesday. If not,
Thank you both. That was a great.
Thank you.
Gerard.